welcome back to our channel. Today we are doing one of our very favorite videos, and that is our annual book awards for 2023.
So we're going to be taking a look at all the different books that we read and ranking them from least to most favorite in several different categories.
It's always so much fun to look back over the year and take into account everything that we've read.
So let's go ahead and get this awards show going.
So this year, for the first time, we joined a monthly book club from Sophia Institute Press. So we are going to start today with our most and least favorite of those 12 books.
So our favorite was definitely Christ in Dachau by Father John Lenz, who survived the Dachau concentration camp.
And this was a book, when it came, we were not too excited and we really didn't want to read it, but we went ahead because we were committed to read whatever they sent us.
And this book was so good, very inspiring and very helpful. So it ended up on our Catholic Do Not Miss list.
And in second place was Sanctify Your Soul by Father Leo Treese. We're huge fans of his books. He's so funny, he's so down to earth. This was a big hit. But in last place, surprisingly, was Praying the Psalms by James Papandrea. This one, we love King David, we love the Psalms, but this just was not what we were expecting.
It's not a book that you really sit down and read. It's more one that you pray with, but it was like in a very interesting kind of way.
It came with a rather complicated set of directions in the front of the book that felt a little bit overwhelming to us. So we did a full review of it in case you're interested here.
So moving outside of the book club, my favorite Catholic book from this year was Testing Liberty by Teresa Linden. This is the second book in her Liberty trilogy, a dystopian trilogy. It was very good, and she's always been one of my favorite authors.
And my favorite book was The Soldier and the Saint, the story of an American GI, Joe Peluso, during World War II, who had the opportunity to visit Padre Pio many times and really get to know him. He wrote a collection of letters or essays about his experiences, and it was just so good.
And then my least favorite Catholic book was The Essences, Book 1. There are no words for this
and
book.
I picked that out for Casey.
Yes.
I'm in trouble.
This was part of a video. It was a book from a video. So we'll have that linked down below if you want to
It got good reviews on Amazon.
Yeah. But you can go watch that if you want to get like an intimate look in on the fun I had with that book.
And then my least favorite was a surprise to me. It was Little Sins Mean a Lot by Elizabeth Scalia. It was one I had wanted to read for quite some time, but when I read it, it just did not strike any chords with me, and I just felt like, I didn't like it.
So moving on to a favorite non-religious book, mine was Aurora Rising by Alistair Reynolds. This is the big sci-fi book.
He's a reader.
That I spent all of October reading, and it was a very enjoyable month doing so. Do you mind? Come here.
Okay. And then my favorite book was a book that I randomly picked up at the library during our winter reading challenge for book bingo, and that was I Wouldn't Do This If I Were Me by Jason Gay. Oh my goodness, it was so funny. It is a collection of humorous essays. They're clean, they're funny, highly recommend, especially if you need a laugh.
So then my least favorite non-religious book was The Pink Lemonade Cake Murder by Joanne Fluke. She's mad at me because I keep reading this series.
Why do you keep reading them? Okay. You don't like them.
It's not my least favorite in that it was like an awful book. It's just the plot never goes anywhere and someone always dies, and
it's predictable.
It's very predictable, and I just read it to see where the characters' lives go. which isn't very far, but
oh well, you know, we all need that kind of like brainless.
It's my brainless book, but
Okay.
yeah, it's not getting a very high star rating.
It's fine. We can all have books like that. And my least favorite book was hard to pick out because if I don't like a book, I just don't finish it. I have an extensive DNF, did not finish list, but one that we read for school that I didn't like, but I finished was The Lost Dinosaurs of Egypt. I don't know, it was just, I thought it would be a lot of dinosaurs and I don't know, it was just a lot of geology and it was just slow and detailed, and we did finish it, but it was not a favorite.
So now moving on to cookbooks. We tried 12 different Catholic cookbooks this year.
Go us. What were we thinking?
And my favorite was the Thursday Night Pizza book, which was our March cookbook.
That one had a great recipe for pizza cups that we still make often. But my favorite was Recipes for Life, a Catholic family cookbook, because the recipes are fun and easy and they turn out.
And then for the least favorite cookbook, we are tied on 2 different cookbooks.
2 in last place.
Yes. They're both wonderful books to read with great pictures and stuff, but just not very practical to cook from. And the first one is the Around the Year with the Von Trapp family cookbook. Wonderful book, just don't make anything from it.
Yeah, we felt betrayed by this one because after we had our rye bread disaster from this book, we found out that it is possible and in fact probable that these recipes were not even really Maria Von Trapp's. So I don't know, read it for the wonderful stories of family life, but just skip the recipes.
And then the other one, no surprise, is the Vatican Christmas Cookbook. Again, wonderful pictures and wonderful stories about all the different popes.
Yeah, but this one is for serious chefs. It's not for the average people in the kitchen. So don't cook from this one either. Unless, I don't know, your skill set is a lot
Unless you
higher
went to
than
culinary
ours.
school, you know, and then you might work for you. So next, for favorite classic, mine was probably the Count of Monte Cristo. We spent long hours with the Count, but it was a good time.
We spent the winter with the Count, right. And my favorite was definitely Death Comes for the Archbishop by Willa Cather. I can't believe it took me so long to read that book, but it was so good.
Next would be Most Unusual, and for me, that would be The Crystal World by J.G. Ballard.
I forgot about
yeah.
that. Might have been my least favorite. Oh my god.
This book is a little fever dream. It has come up in several videos before.
Yeah, that definitely, I think, might have been. That might, yeah. Okay. And for me, most unusual, but in a good way, was I Would Like to Travel the World, the story of Saint Therese. And it's just so outside of the box. It's the story about how her relics went on a world tour. So it was a lot of fun and really interesting. Not what we were expecting, but in a good way.
Then for favorite biography, mine was Rocket Boys by Homer H. Hickam. So he was a NASA scientist, and this is like the story of his childhood building rockets.
That one was really good. But my favorite was My Life in France by Julia Child. I listened to that one on Hoopla. I just randomly decided to read it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So next, moving on to our most surprising hit from the year. And mine was The In-Between, which is some of the author's stories out of working in hospice.
And for me, the most surprising hit was The Hell Catholic by Father X, which is a little vintage book that we found in one of our big bins of library books. And I didn't know what to expect, but Kate and I both read it and we both really enjoyed it.
And then the most surprising flop would definitely be What Jesus Saw from the Cross.
Yeah, that one it just didn't pan out like we had hoped. It was so hard to get through. We read it during Lent, and I'll just say this, it was very penitential.
And then our favorite scary book we're both tied on, and that is Awakening by Jacqueline Brown. And we read this one for our spooky Catholic books video.
It was really good about a haunted inn and possession and all kinds of interesting things. Purgatory, yes, yeah.
It was a good one. Definitely read it.
Then I had a few random categories that I wanted to throw out there. My most helpful book that I read all year was Blessed by Less, which is a Catholic take on decluttering. The author is funny and very practical and very real world, so it was a helpful hit for me. And then our favorite conversion story was From the Susquehanna to the Tiber by Jeremy Christensen. He was a Mormon who converted to the Catholic Church. I don't know, this was so fascinating. We just marked it up one side and down the other, and we put it on our Catholic Do Not Miss list. And then lastly, I read 12 monthly devotionals during 2023, and I definitely had some favorites and least favorites. I didn't talk much about this on our channel, but I plan to do a whole video about them. But just quickly, my least favorite was You Shall Not Want, a spiritual journey based on the Psalms. Again, based on the Psalms, not exactly the Psalms. The readings in here are not even numbered, so you know which psalm they come from, which was strange. And I did feel like some of the wording in here was kind of new agey, so definitely my least favorite. And then surprisingly or not, because I'm a big fan, my favorite was Praying with John the 23rd, this little short book. It's not even really a daily devotional, for a month. It's more like a little book that I divided out over 30 days. But I will get into why I love this one so much in my coming video, so stay tuned for that.
All right, so that was our Book Academy Awards for 2023.
And we do want to thank you, everyone who prayed for Kate. She obviously is feeling better. Here she is with us today. We missed her in our last book video. So let us know down in the comments, what were your favorites and flops from 2023? We always love to hear from you.
So we hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.